All right, well, now that our pigs are getting bigger, they're no longer piglets. This used to house them just fine, but we have 9. Here they are. And so as they get bigger, this location is just not big enough. Training them on the fence today. There's an electric fence inside. And so far 3 of them have been trained. And since it's been raining, we have a lot of mud. So we're going to move them out of this probably tomorrow and into their brand new permanent paddock. Now this is going to be a holding area. We imagine we'll be using a lot more Premier 1 fencing and moving them all over the woods, but this is our new area. Oh, you just heard another one get trained. Okay, so this large area here is their new permanent area. And then we will be moving them all around the woods after they are trained. So that is the plan.
Saturday morning, nice soft ground. We're installing all the insulators to protect the new PID paddock from bears and tall animals. So I found out that they do come with nails, but I wouldn't use a nail, and they're harder to put in. I use a 3-inch screw. So I have another. And we use the tape, the shock tape. So the easiest way for that is it just kind of pops right in there. It lays in, and then this closes and holds it nice and snug. And then the screw just goes in the top versus having to nail it. And then you just kind of put it right in. I'm trying to keep them nice and even, but some of the poles are higher and lower than the other based on the terrain. So. And this will make them easier to move too. Not that we may have to move them, but never know. So there it is. And we do know they work. We just put a small strand in our pig pen this morning to teach them, and that wet nose against that tape sure shocked them pretty quickly, and they stepped back. So we know it works.
All right, so Aiden is adding pallets to the future pig shelter. Say hi, Aiden. All right, Michaela and Owen are strategizing the pig shelter. We're talking about the roof, how slanted it needs to be. And it's a pretty large area. It's pretty large. You can see the 2 strands. You've got the bottom strand, which will protect the pigs from getting out or digging under, and the top strand is to protect from bear. We've had quite a bit of bear in the last month or 2 that seem to love lounging on our sides of the mountain or the hill here we have. So we've gone the extra effort of using the hog fence with the insulators at the bottom for the 1 strand. And a neighbor of ours told us that it would be smart with our posts, since it was still pretty wet from the last rain, that when we dig our posts with the auger, that we should pour some dry cement inside in the base. So we did. We poured some dry cement powder in there, and then put the post in. And as it rains, we're expecting rain tonight, it should get into that, seep into that, and solidify the concrete when it dries. That was a really neat tip, so shout out to our neighbor. And you can see back there we had a bunch of dead ash trees that we had to remove before we could even clear this area enough to get the fence around. So we were worried that those ash trees would come down on the pigs or on our fence. And now that those are cleared, they're in piles, they're sitting, we'll get to it this winter. That'll be our supply for next year's fire. All right, fun Saturday morning project. They're building a pig shelter, which should be a U-shape-ish 3 sides. It looks like 2 pallets wide in the back, and they're going to put 1 pallet on each side and then figure out some kind of tarp angled shelter. So here are soon-to-be pampered pigs. They're about to be moved. I would estimate they're either going to be moved later on today or tomorrow. And here is the fence that we've been training them on. It's energized, and we've been hearing a little bit of ouch and squeal. So they're learning, and we've got 9 total. And you can see the one in the back that's hanging out in the shelter. He's our oldest pig. He's not related to this crew. We've got about 4 of them that are... oh, and you just saw one get energized. Didn't like that. So 4 of them have the same, well, they all have the same dad, but 4 from one mom, 4 from another mom. And then the guy in the back, actually he's now waddling over to the log. He's not related. He's about 2 weeks older than everybody else. And his name is Pumpkin. You can't really get a good look at him, but he's not related. He's going to be our breeding male boar when he gets older. So we're going to keep them separate. We're going to keep the boys. We've got 2 boys. One shares the same dad as everybody else except for Pumpkin. And then we've got our other male. And he is, they're going to live very comfortably in this big old shelter, just the 2 of them, until we get our goats. And then we'll find somewhere else to put our males. And our ladies are being moved to the big shelter in the back. And that should happen later on today or tomorrow. All right, it's about to get pretty loud in here. I am headed up to go get more screws for the shelter. Finishing up their structure. They're using garden fabric as the waterproof insulation, I guess, for the shelter they just built. So this is the front, and that'll keep the weather off. And it's 2 pallets wide, 1 pallet on the sides, and then they have a little warming area there.
I am hungry. Hey, if you do it on the side, I don't have to hold it anymore.
Yeah, I'll be right over.
Are you taking a video? What up, vloggers?
Alright, and this is the finished product for today. And we just might get those piggos outside. So we got 2, so that's good. We're trying to figure out the easiest way. Should we crate or should we run them with electric fencing? So we've decided to crate and see how heavy that is.
Big. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Go.
Shoring up a arcing T-post.
Look at them eating all in.
Go be with your friends. Say hello. Pixie. Pixie's a sweetheart. Say hi, Pixie. Say hi. Say, look at his face. He's so cute. He's a cutie. Whoa. She is definitely trained. She will lay down and get belly rubs like this. Lay down, Pixie.
Alright, here's the setup for the watering system. We're kind of a far ways away from the water source, so we have put together this little 50-gallon drum, and it's dripping in with a spigot into this watering system that keeps full.